not a YouTuber, just like making videos. And we're going to talk about domestic abuse. Now, I like to keep my videos more scattershot, my videos more random, and just talking about a certain subject because everybody else is talking about it. And especially when there's a celebrity that's in hot water that everybody wants to talk about domestic abuse because because celebrities are like gods. So I do feel that that's kind of foolish and so forth. But I figure that it's high time that I talked about my stance on domestic abuse. I should have been made this video. If I can talk about feminism in video games, I can talk about domestic abuse. And these are the kind of videos where you put your opinion out there and you can lose subscribers or gain subscribers. Now, where do I start? We hear the term a man should not hit a woman. That's true. But if a woman puts her hands on a man, then it's no holds barred. So I really ponder on that because some people say that with great enthusiasm. Hey, when a female hits a man, then okay, all gloves are off. My thing is like this. I have been struck by females, but a female has never posed an imminent threat to me. If a 6'4", 350-pound woman comes charging at me and she has big will in her, big will-like arms, then I will defend myself accordingly. But if I'm dealing with some 5'4", 5'5", 5'1", petite or average built female, who has a squabble with me and wants to get in my face and nudge me and wants to pinch me or whatever, then I'm gonna worst case scenario, I will fight that force, I'll fight, with the same amount of force. Meaning that if I can easily subdue a female and restrain her, then I would do it. I shouldn't have to go just all bullrog on her and so forth. And I see some of these videos and they're really appalling. It's like people are giving the green light to, giving people the green light to beat women. They're like, oh, she got into his face. She got into his face. She was waving his finger. That's what she gets and so forth. And this sort of makes the man looks weak, in my opinion, especially black men. Because that's what it is. People are talking about it. That the black woman is being made to look roguish and so forth, especially in this corner of YouTube and certain pockets of media. And that are they getting what they deserve? Now, that being said, when a black female is confrontational with a man, they do have to err on the side of caution because you don't know what you're dealing with. But okay, let's say a female strikes a man and a man strikes back. Okay, let's say he feels that he was deemed that was his only option, to retaliate in this manner. But then you see certain situations where not only a dude strikes back, but he goes overboard. He hits a female, slams her, and starts kicking her on the ground and whatever. Okay. If you feel that striking back is your only as a necessary option, don't go all ballistic. Don't do a berserker barrage. I'm like, if you see a female is pleading no contest, don't continue to strike them like you would a man. Now we're gonna go into the Ray Rice situation. I know this has been dragged to the dirt. And I think about Mr. Tommy Sotomayor video. Now, first he did a video on it, and he talked about the black woman as dominatrix, no, the terminatrix. And the black woman would do, since she does stuff to make you want to put her hands on it. It's just a whole lot of hyperbole. But then he backpedaled in a recent video, which, and I don't like it when people do it. I have more respect for people to defend their position. Because he said that, he didn't see the video, when he made his first assumption and so forth. Now that he saw the video and seen that Ray Rice spit on the female. And that's foolish. I'm like, why would you make a crash judgment like that without observing all the information, And then he criticized the NFL because the NFL wanted to suspend him for 2 games or whatever, and then the NFL wanted to just altogether drop him. But he has done the same thing. First he was like, oh, it's a black female, then he seen that, even though he still sided with Ray Rice. And I hate it when people leave out information to fit their narrative. Now, we know that Ray Rice, he's a celebrity. I'm like, and once you go into that world, you really don't have any privacy. And this can be a double-edged sword. There's going to be people that defend him the fact because he can run a football very good, or whatever his position is, and so forth. And then people say, well, that's the matter. That's a private matter between him and his female and so forth. No, you have no privacy when you're a celebrity. And the thing is, if you saw this video, if this was a regular dude, if this was a drug dealer who did this, then what would your opinion be? Would you defend him, or would you look at him as just scum? And then looking at that situation, I'm like, Ray Rice is dealing with this female. This was some regular dude on the street. Like, he has to defend himself. I'm like, she is such an imminent threat to him, and so forth. That you have to take this into consideration. This is a female. She's kind of a female, small in stature, average, so that's the mother of his child. So no, you have to evaluate the situation differently. But I understand, people have their own agendas, and how they observe a situation. He's a celebrity. And the thing is with the NFL, and it's funny thing with Tommy Sotomayor, this is a person who defended white people, who said that, white people should strap up and shoot unarmed boys. They should be George Zimmerman. But now, it's the white man that's gonna punish, Ray Rice. Black people don't have no power. It is their league. And most black people are on Ray Rice's side. Even black women are on, they feel that his punishment is way too harsh. But now I'm like, this is the people that you defended. Now, domestic violence, domestic abuse is a problem all around the board. But I do admit that white people tend to get on the scene and act more repulsed by it than blacks do. And maybe if white people just put they like to put on that facade. I admit they are just like, making Ray Rice, to be some sort of demon lord or whatever. Now, I don't care. I just think, Ray Rice is just another cocky dude who plays, football and so forth. Because I don't even really follow professional sports. If you saw my last video. But if you go, if it's their league, their rules. And I think Tim Black had it right. I'm like, it's all about the bottom line. The NFL want that family type image. So yeah, and then when you have 2 incidents, you have the Peterson incident. So something has to give. They have to do something. They have to punish somebody. But let's just talk about domestic. The history of domestic violence in this country. There was a time in this country that the courts did not get involved in family affairs. They did not get involved in domestic affairs. A man can go home and beat his wife, beat his children, molest his children, and nobody would talk about it because people didn't want to pry into, beyond other people's doors until there was just a long public outcry or whatever, and then eventually, it was an evolution that took place, a process that took place, and then more, laws were formed, legislators were passed. It is the same thing that goes into child support. That there was, we had a thing called shotgun weddings. That's because men, black men, white men, whatever, were knocking up women and just going about their business. A female couldn't get any type of retribution, couldn't get any sort of child support. A man did not have to take care of his kids. The law wasn't involved until there was public outcry and people going to the courts and there was laws passed. Men were abusing this until it came knocking at their doorstep. Same thing with domestic abuse. And of course, once these laws get passed, now, we're seeing the butt end of it that, people are going to abuse these, abuse their situation. And I agree, especially with domestic violence, there's going to be a lot of women that's going to cry wolf. We know, especially in the black community, since the black man has been, castrated, we know that our system, is very quick, if not to lock the black man up, is to shoot him. And sometimes, yes, women are going to take advantage of this. But we can't fall for these diversions. We can't say when we bring up domestic abuse and people quickly say, well, I believe if a female puts her hands on a man, then I understand that. But let's go into, there are men that just like beating on women. There are men that are frustrated with their job situation that come home and, to beat their spouse. I'm like, it happens. We can't ignore this. We cannot deflect from this. We can't just say, well, if a female put their hands on a man and so forth. You know what I mean? I'm like, we have to understand, and a lot of people aren't talking about it, especially in the black community or whatever. I'm like, there are certain sections, but, not in this realm. And I read an article about invisible women, black women in violent situations, it's hardly ever reported on. When black female becomes up dead because of their intimate lover and so forth. Now, I understand that there's many situations, it's multi-dimensional. There's certain situations where a female seems trapped. There's a certain situations where a female got away from her domestic abuser, and then went right back to him. And there's certain situations where a man who has a reputation of beating on women, and a female knows his rep and will still be involved with him. Matter of fact, I do find it funny that men who do have a reputation of domestic violence, how they'll always have a female. I guess because of their aggressive caveman nature, but they have no problem getting women. But I observed domestic abuse firsthand. I've seen it with my own eyes. Have family members that are, that are victims. And females are the weaker vessels. I've dated women, you know what I mean? Last female I dated her for 6 months. And she doesn't have a violent and aggressive bone in her body. Because in the 6 months we were dating, I would have saw it. And she talked about how her ex-husband broke her arm and put her in the hospital. I dated one female that claimed to have been put in a coma because of her ex-boyfriend or whatever. And these females were small and frail. They wasn't, they're not a threat. These weren't big, boorish-looking women. They were small, and they were somewhat submissive because, if they were loud, if they were aggressive, then I would have saw it at some point in time, me dating them or my interactions with them.